Give everybody just a minute here to hop on and we'll go ahead and get started.
Take your time, big guy.
Oh, Punchy Boy. What's up, man?
Morning.
You were on live YouTube with me, my guy.
That was fun.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Oh.
How's it going, everyone? It is Garrett.
Oh, it is Garrett. Sorry, that's my video playing. All right, everybody. Go ahead and tag everyone just really quick. I was right about CMG. Alright, so let's go ahead and get ready to go over our news. We have a big week ahead of us, guys. One that is going to require some awareness, I'll put it that way. This is, we have the FOMC meeting. We have some hedge fund traders publicly saying that with this type of news, they're ready to short inflation. I just read that quote from Paul Tudor Jones, who basically in an interview said things are absolutely batshit crazy right now. This is the most important Fed meeting we've had in 5 years. He said he will be watching carefully as Fed boss Jay Powell shrugs off the perky inflation numbers that would be a green light for heavy bets on every inflation trade. Jones famously went long on Bitcoin, says he continues to like it as a portfolio diversifier where he likes a mix of 5% Bitcoin, 5% commodities, 5% cash, but that leaves 85% that he's unsure with what to do with. Economic orthodoxy has been turned upside down. Something to keep in mind. There's a reason why articles like that get put out. Obviously, nothing is ever a coincidence in this market, so please keep that in mind this week while we're taking long positions. Make sure that if you have some type of downside protection, inflation reaction protection. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get right into the news. Right off the bat, we're going to look at the Fed as the Fed tiptoes towards the taper stage months before a curtain call. For the second time in less than a decade, the Federal Reserve is getting ready to launch a thorny debate over how and when the sunset of a massive asset purchase program that helped cushion an economy battered by crisis but left it with mountains of bonds that may linger on its balance sheet for years to come. That's important to remember. So moving on, Musk says Tesla will accept Bitcoin when miners are use more clean energy. Seems a little bit more as a shrug off for a public, I'm sorry, in the worst way. But anyway, so Shell weighs blockbuster sell of Texas shale assets. Royal Dutch Shell is reviewing its holding of the largest U.S. oil field for a potential sell. People familiar with the matter told Reuters marketing the key moment in a shift away from fossil fuels as it faces growing pressure to slash carbon emissions. Let's see here. Novavax COVID-19 vaccine more than 90% effective in U.S. trial. Novavax reported large stage data from its U.S.-based clinical trial showing its vaccine is more than 90% effective against COVID-19 variants, or COVID-19 and as well as a variety of variants as well. So, let's see here. CRSPU, what's up? Check Discord. Okay, just a moment. Okay. Let's see here. NATO leaders are expected to brand China a security risk to Western alliance on Monday, as day after the group of 7 richest. That sounds like the weird. I am a little bit tired today. I will admit, but I don't feel super tired. Like, I feel almost like I don't know. I just feel like this. I feel comfy. That's the only way I can put it. Like, it feels like Saturday morning, but so a day after the group of 7 richest nations issued a statement on human rights in China, Taiwan, that Beijing said slandered its reputation. So Wall Street futures rose as focus shifted to the Federal Reserve's meeting this week, where central bank is expected to maintain its accommodative stance on monetary policy. European shares were in the green. Japanese shares ended higher as cyclicals such as tire makers and shippers led gains on global recovery hopes. The dollar edged lower, gold prices fell, and oil prices supported by the prospect of fuel demand as vaccination campaigns in developed countries accelerate. So definitely, I'm just weary of this FOMC meeting. There's a lot to break down. You need me to check out CRSR. Holy shit. I got Corsair Gaming in my computer right now. Okay. Well, immediately into the overbought. So if you're in, that looks great. If you're looking to get in, it looks like it's about to pull back. So I would wait for some type of pattern to form. I'm not sure what the news is. Or if it's a price target raise, but anytime you have a massive gap and then just a really strong run like that, let's see, you gapped up from 32 running to 41. That is a substantial run, so that's amazing though. Number 1 on Wall Street bets. Man, they can't make up their mind. Okay, well, then we will keep a tight ass eye on it. Of course, anything like this needs to be, you know what I like to do? I like to add an alert once per bar. So basically every time that this 9-day moving average gets tapped would basically give me an idea for a retest. I gotta turn that down. But yeah, that's, we'll take a look at it. Right now. Well, would you look at that? Okay. Sorry guys, this is part of the Wall Street bets tracking. Okay. Wow. Top volume on that's gone down substantially. CLNE. check that out. So what am I going to do? I'm going to set an alert at 11:12. Okay. Well, the best that we can do with that is just track it. This UWMC is another one that they're running up too. So we can just, the best we can do is set alerts, pay attention to volume. So looks pretty cool though. Oh God. Cool. Okay, so some top news. Apple, the company on Friday said that it has tightened some of its rules for responding to legal requests after the U.S. Justice Department said during Donald Trump's presidency subpoenaed it for information on Democratic lawmakers. Apple said it recently instituted a limit of 25 identifiers such as email addresses, phone numbers per legal request. The company said that it received a subpoena from the Justice Department in February 2018 for information on 191 identifiers made up of 73 phone numbers and 36 email addresses, but that it did not release content such as emails and pictures to prosecutors. Apple, I just put a video out this morning. We'll go over Apple if anybody's interested, but I think that a push to 130 is highly likely, but the sentiment overall has been low, and so more than likely we're going to see a rejection around there. I'm expecting a pullback on this FOMC meeting. I didn't expect it so much on the inflation news, but I do expect it here. So let's see here. Chesapeake Energy Company, the oil and gas producer, said on Friday that 3 executives will leave the company, the latest exits this year after it launched a new chief executive search. Let's see here. Johnson & Johnson, they're dealing with more FDA. Microsoft, the company on Sunday showcased 30 upcoming games, said most of those titles available on its monthly subscription service, Xbox Game Pass. The company said it would launch new games on the Game Pass every month through the end of the year, including titles such as PG Strategy series, Age of Empires 5. That game was bomb when I was a kid. I loved that game. I used to use all the cheat codes and just have like massive, and then my computer would freeze and break. Racing game Forza, Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, is now set for a holiday launch as well this year after being delayed due to the challenges of developers being stuck at home during the coronavirus restrictions. Microsoft also announced launch dates for 2 big budget games exclusive to Xbox and PC, role-playing games Starfield and vampire-themed shooting game Redfall, and Starfield will launch on November 11th and Redfall next summer. So Microsoft is one that we are going to be watching. If anybody took the long calls or is planning on it, this one looks pretty good in pre-market. I'm not a big fan of giant gaps, and I'll show you exactly why. You can see now this all is a gap, but this gap up here, or bounce off of the trend line, just had us pretty much dump for the entirety of the day. So with any type of gap up, I'm hoping to see, let's see if I can find a good example. I actually prefer gap downs over gap ups. You can see that gap downs usually end up being test of support that happen in pre-market, whereas gap ups tend to set up something for a gap fill. Don't really see any gap ups around here, but I guess you could even say here it gaps up and then it spills. So I want everybody to be really, really careful. It's pretty simple right here. You can just draw a support line like so. That's where Microsoft is currently bouncing at the moment. We can see our top resistance line like so. So it's forming a little bit of a triangle. So above and out of that triangle, you could likely see a push to 260, maybe until you pull back to support. So let's see. Tesla, the company's chief executive officer Elon Musk tweeted on Sunday that the electric came. Oh, I already read that. Twitter, the Lagos-based entrepreneur Ochi Igumunu was selling more than $1,200 worth of watches, shoes, and handbags on Twitter per week. Now the site suspended by the Nigerian government. Igumunu said that she does not know how she will cope. Social media is where I eat. She told Reuters, I depend on social media for my livelihood. Scores of small and medium businesses across Africa's most populous nations populous nation and largest economy are reeling in the indefinite suspension of the social media site. So I wonder if that can affect their price today. So let's see here. So analysts, some of the top upgrades that I do see or Adobe, they had a price target raise to 630 from 560. I do, if I'm not mistaken, this one has earnings coming up relatively soon. I believe it's next week. Maybe. If it'll load. Maybe not. Could have sworn. There it is. Never mind. Yeah, so it's this Thursday. Might be worth taking a look at. That ended up playing out. Okay, so definitely looks like it's in a need for a pullback. It's overbought. So that price target raise comes at a kind of a weird time. We'll see how that moves. I'll set an alert at the highs and set an alert at 635 or 535. So yeah, they got a price target raise from 630 from 560, expecting second quarter revenue beat and improving momentum going into the second half of the year. Let's see. That's about it for top news. Let's see here. Hold on one second. Let's see. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, let's see here. All right, so let's go over, obviously, Microsoft. We're going to go over Microsoft, Snap, ABML, or no, we already went over that one, but Roblox, Snap, Microsoft, all of those obviously being in that tech sector. So right now, I'm looking at a potential push today to 260.50. So that one I'm going to be looking, we talked about this one previously. I'm going to be looking at the June 18th, maybe even just taking those 260s. We need to take a look at our correlating ETF and see kind of where that's at. You can see this is a very well-respected resistance for the Qs, and in all honesty, it looks more like it's going to have a pullback rather than actually trend to the upside. So if we go look back at Microsoft, there is a good chance that we could find ourselves back on the EMA around 256.35 before we see our next bounce. And we could even be a little bit more liberal with this support line here, running it off of this wick. So you could even say somewhere, and I'll just go ahead and break that out, but somewhere around 256.50 is where I would venture to guess we'll see Microsoft pull back to if the Qs do the same. Okay, and you can see how tightly consolidated this is. So what I would do if I was anybody is just add an alert to that trend line, and then what you can do as well is set a support, right, or a previous resistance. So out of this right here, and then you would likely see a bounce down here, so I can add alert as well there. Okay. So that's the Qs. We'll look at SPY as well. So SPY kind of pretty similar setup here. And man, I tell you what, this looks like it doesn't look good. Wow. Oh, the moment of truth is going to happen here soon. So I cannot emphasize how tight this price action is, and how much of a movement we could see. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really think that this is a ledge, and with inflation, I think with the pullback on the FOMC meeting, that would be the catalyst that would potentially have it back down into the 417. So if you're playing anything long and you can afford protection, right, have the target of around 417 for any strike prices, maybe 418 as well. Could be a good spot to take a position. So, all right. Did you buy CMG? Oh, nice. Wow, so the CMG breakdown, would you look at that? Hot damn. Told you that Chipotle was good luck, my guy. Hell yeah, man. Love to see it. So let's go look at Snapchat. Let's go pull the 4 hour out. There we go. Okay, so Snapchat, like our friend Microsoft, is up against a relatively strong resistance, and I'm going to actually emphasize this somehow. Let's see. We'll just make it red and thick. So this red line, right, has been the plight of Snap consistently. So we have the first tap here, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and now seventh, where we're building what looks to be kind of an ascending wedge or ascending triangle. So we could see, like Microsoft, one more trip back down to support before we get a bounce out. If we get a bounce out, we're looking at SPY, we're looking at all of these different stocks, are these ETFs, and we're seeing such consolidated price action that we do not want to get caught trying to take a trade. So it may be best to look for more momentum stocks, right, at open, rather than looking for, you know, certain stocks to just run immediately. Futures are up, but we're still kind of unaware of the sentiment inflow. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set an alert on this 4-hour time frame on both that support and resistance line on SPY before I get too ahead of myself. And then as well as right below that, right here at 240 or 425.85. So, but just an important pattern to have marked on your chart. You can see really tight. So we're going to make a move, and it could be. I'm not saying. So here's another real quick before I move any further. Here's another really quick potential. And I'm always looking at, I would rather map out what are potential moves than have a bias in my mind of what I think or what I know is going to happen, but rather have what could potentially happen around these marks. And so right here with the 9-day moving average, everything kind of moving up, there is the potential that we pop and we go hit the 430 mark that we talked about. That would be the top of that channel, but that would likely line it up right with the FOMC meeting, which would only allow these shorts and hedges to get a better average up at the top. So in my opinion, it can, and I hate saying this, but it can go both ways. Absolutely could go both ways. So we'll just set alerts on both of them, but this can be a bilateral pattern. So watch Sava. Cassava Sciences. Yeah, it's worth taking a look at for sure. Okay. So we got Microsoft. It's 9/11. I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. Roblox. Take a look at this one. One of two things, obviously. We're really close to support. So if we short support, Roblox pulls back hard and back down into the 80s likely. Maybe even 83 would likely be a price target that I would put on Roblox. So 83 would be that price target. And then if we end up bouncing, right, we have that previous target of 104 where I think that we would likely make an ascending triangle. So we have alerts set right here at that 94.50 mark. And I'll be watching the $95 strike and $100 strike going out till next week on Roblox. So let's see, NVIDIA. Obviously, guys, we talked about this one last night. No straight lines. We just need to identify where are we finding the most respect. So it looks to me the 20-day moving average on this particular bull run has been the real catalyst for a bounce for NVIDIA. And so we're a little bit farther away from that than I'd like. But there is the potential that we retest that 50-day EMA. And then if I go down here to the hourly time frame, it's kind of gapping up and then pulling back. So you either get a bounce here, and I'll go ahead and draw this shorter time frame support, right? So you either get a bounce here and I would say that's a 711.75 would be likely a good bounce spot. So if we hit that 711.75 spot, 711.75 spot, then I would imagine that's where we're going to bounce off of. If not, it may just be one of those things where we pull back with the entirety of the market. You can see RSI pulling back here a little bit, the MACD losing a little bit of strength. So we'll see how we open. That's the best that we can do as far as Monday mornings. I'm going to allow 30 minutes at least to pass before I take any trades. Like as far, I might scalp the bell depending on price action, but other than that, as far as day trades, I would rather start this week off observing rather than getting caught in anything. So all right, let's see here. So we got the snap. Remember the snap contracts that we talked about, the $70 strike, $7.16, $65 strike, $6.25, and then obviously scalping weeklies underneath that if you're trying to set up a full snap position. So you guys make sure you monitor snap. Let's go over Tesla, because I have not. We're going to go ahead and delete these lines. Actually, we're not going to do that. Okay. So here's the deal here. It looks to me like Tesla is building almost like a little descending triangle, or descending wedge. Or no, that's not that's a descending triangle, I believe. But it looks, and I'll be honest with you guys, it looks like it's going to go need one more bounce off of that support line around the, looks like 590 or 585 mark. So there is the potential that we could see one more bounce. Otherwise, Tesla is coiled up right up against resistance off of this second bounce of support. So with that being said, a pop immediately to 630, a break of 630, and I think that you immediately go into that 637 mark, which is, or 637, 640, which is right around the 50-day moving average on that daily time frame. You can see that that mark of 637.45 is backed up by the 4-hour 200-day EMA. So definitely a strong support or resistance. So we're going to be watching that. And I'm going to go ahead and set an alert on Tesla as it doesn't have a ton of room to run unless it does get past that 637.45 mark at that point, which it could run to 700, or excuse me, 670. So let's see, we got Tesla, Microsoft. MaxR was moving in pre-market, guys. If you guys still have MaxR, we got a gap up to back up to that previous high. So I am looking at MaxR to potentially keep running. If it does go to fill its gap, if you guys are in any positions, then it might be best just to close it out. But I think that we might see a little bit of movement. We were really coiled up, so I always like to see a gap up out of that that setup like that. So let's see. Anybody have any Manny, or is anybody on right now? Pen. All right, yeah, we'll just look at what you guys want to look at. I don't know if Manny had snuck on or not. Well, the 5-minute on Pen looks kind of jacked up. All right, so it looks like a little bit of indecisiveness here in pre-market. Honestly, this is a pretty bilateral pattern. Although it looks bullish, it can be just as bearish. So a break below 83.70 on Pen, and you're going to see Pen pull back to the 83 mark even. If it happens to, it looks like in pre-market, I mean, these might be shorts coming in right here, but it does look like there's the potential it could pop up today. So I've seen movement like that on pen previously, so we'll see what we get here today. Obviously correlating movement from SPY and the market in general is going to help. Wow, the hourly looks crazy. It honestly looks like it's going to pull back, just be honest with you. So I would watch it there, but obviously above that $84 mark. Yeah, Apple, I just did a video on Apple, but so this one is almost acting like it's up against the 135 wall again. This 135 wall back in, back in April was just the worst, and I think multiple days in a row we just kept popping up against it. So there's a couple different potentials here. We have 1, 2, 3 bounces off of our daily support on Apple, which is always, for me, I want to see 3 bounces and a break, but this could have been that triple bottom that puts us up to 130. Long-term investors, obviously this is a loved stock, but like I said before, the sentiment is slightly changed. So with the setup that we have on SPY, and then the setup that I see on Apple, if we go here on Apple and we draw a support line, well, first of all, this support line ends up becoming our resistance, right? So I'm gonna pull that up just like that. So it ends up exchanging support for resistance, and that's one thing that I've noticed. Whenever a stock pulls back, loses support, and then runs up, it's primed for a rejection rather than a breakout, because now it has the initial resistance or linear resistance above it, but also that horizontal or moving resistance, pattern resistance, that you have moving under. So that's, you can see 2 lines of respect, 1, 2 rejections. So honestly, Apple's not looking pretty at the moment. The only other line, and I know I'm drawing lines out the ass right now, but excuse my language. This is a secondary support coming off of this high, or this low, excuse me, down here, and you can see the angle of these candlesticks here give me an indication that Apple will likely see 126.20 or even as low as 126.85, not 126.20. Sorry, I'm reading this line right here, but 127 even, and then 126.85 would likely be where Apple goes and retest on this rejection. If it can manage to flip and hold this flag, which it kind of looks like a flag, then you could see a breakout as it is going for the 3rd test of resistance, F1, 2, 3. So in my opinion, it looks like shorts have really taken a stand here, and so I'm betting on Apple likely going back down. So let's see. Oh wait, is Manny on?
It's me, bro.
Oh, what's up?
Not much. Guys, I don't have a penny list to take off for you guys today and talk about news. Unfortunately, I had some family stuff to take care of this morning, so that's taken up most of my morning. I'll still signal stuff if I get in, but I'll probably be only getting in like half size or quarter size since I haven't done my DD this morning. So it's a little bit more risky just me entering stuff that I'm not aware what's the cause of the move, especially with pennies.
Yeah, I can give you guys a really quick, you guys can go and write these down or add them to a list, but I can give you a list of pre-market movers right now. We have ENOB, which is Eno Chain I think I'm saying that, Biosciences, that one popped, huge pop from what looks to be $4 all the way to 11 here in pre-market. Definitely moving pretty crazy. That stock is moving on an investigational new drug request for potential functional cure or treatment of HIV. So the FDA has accepted EO-Chain's Biosciences request. So the request was based on the results of a 54-year-old old man living with HIV who had failed to suppress the virus with antiviral therapy. The patient subsequently achieved viral control for 244 days with innovative treatment of natural killer NK and gamma T cells, GDT, collected from another person. So that's big news, and definitely something to write down. So I'm going to write that one down just for future reference.
Are you streaming on YouTube?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Why are you going to say bad words?
Yep.
Why? What happened?
Nothing. It's just a stupid joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So also RAPT, Rapt Therapeutics, their stock is soaring as atopic dermatitis candidate shows promising action in early stage. So watch for that one to pump and likely pull back since there's no verifiable evidence, but could see a little bit of momentum off of that one. Looks like Corsair, of course, was some of the top. That one's not a penny stock though. MDIA, this one's actually pulled back a little bit here, made a double top in pre-market. But actually, dude, I got the, hold on one second.
You get the what?
This is a pretty sweet ass list. Then Webull put out a 22. It basically is a news list on the top penny stocks moving. So if you guys can see this right here, probably not. But on Webull, if you go to the top movers, and then you go. Yeah. In the app, right? Well, I clicked on MDIA and it's news details. Yeah, so basically is showing, giving you a brief, like, okay, this is why this is happening. ORPH shares rose 21% to 11 in pre-market trader after dipping over 55% on Friday. The last press statement put out by them said his application for, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Yeah, I am. Arimicol. Nope, that was terrible. Rewind. Which will be branded as, oh God, Mypiliffa. It's MIPLYFFA. That's not a word, for the Niemann-Pick disease type. Wow, that was a train wreck of a news article. I'm not going to be on CNBC anytime soon.
That's the company that gapped up like 600%.
Yeah. So
the one that halted like 1,000 times.
Yeah. Okay, guys. 1 second. I have to get some water. And it's like a couple minutes to the bell. So those of you on YouTube, thank you so much for hopping in. Thank you for leaving likes. Those of you who have, hopefully this helps you guys. I'll see you guys after hours. All right, Reddit people now, or not